Let's look beyond campus. These new construction homes in San Marcos could be a smarter long-term move than renting near Texas State. We're going to explore these options right now. Hey everyone, Daniel here, your local San Marcos real estate expert. If you are considering buying or selling property in San Marcos, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on the latest real estate news. So in today's video, we're going to be exploring renting in San Marcos versus buying in San Marcos. And I'm only going to look at new construction homes for this video. I have another video I just did that looks at homes that are walking distance from campus. So if you can't drive or you don't want to rely on the bus, then definitely check out that video. But for this one, like I said, just new construction. There's some really good deals from builders right now. And so I kind of want to highlight that and put that on your radar. First thing we're going to look at, though, is we're looking at the multiple listing service. This is something I have access to as a realtor. And I'm just looking at rentals. So we can kind of get a baseline of how much is the average rental. So I've done at least $1,600 a month here for the price. 3 to 4 bedroom in San Marcos, and at least 1,000 square feet. Anything smaller than that, it's not apples to apples, right? The homes we're going to be looking at are 2,000 square feet. So looking at this comes up with 60 matches. Now these are just single family homes for rent, but I did a market analysis, and of the 60 available, $2,163 is the average rent right now in San Marcos. Okay, so if we're thinking of renting a house, you can expect to pay around that for a decent house. Obviously, you can get way cheaper if you want to go smaller, but that's kind of the thing we're looking at comparing to, okay? So now let's look at homes available to purchase. And I'm going to go through, a little sneak peek, I'm going to go through this calculator and show you with specific homes how much is going to be your monthly mortgage payment, how much is it going to cost to actually get you into the house, okay? Now, I'm actually going to cancel out of these because I'm going to get lost in this. So the criteria I put here, these are homes for sale, we're still in San Marcos, price ranging from $250,000 to $370,000. Anything above $370,000, probably going to be too high of a monthly mortgage payment if you're doing a low down payment. If you can do a higher down payment, then obviously we can go higher. Total bedrooms, just looking at 3 to 4 bedrooms. That's important because I see this as a potential way of house hacking where you can get your student, or if you are a student at Texas State, you can get into a house and have your roommates pay the majority of your mortgage for you. And so you could get to a point, if you're in a 4-bedroom, to where your 3 other roommates are paying each a third of your mortgage and you're living mortgage-free, rent-free, right? And they're paying down your loan for you. So that's kind of the goal of this. So just looking at 3 to 4 bedrooms, nothing smaller than that, at least 1,200 square feet, and then, which they're all going to be much higher than that. And then, like I said, this one, year built 2023 plus, so something newer. So we have 58 matches. And I'll zoom out so you can kind of get a sense of the lay of the land. So downtown San Marcos, there's not going to be anything new construction, okay? All the new construction is on the outskirts of San Marcos. So over to the west, we have La Cima, which is higher end. There's only one, I think, here in that price range. They're going to be higher. I wouldn't recommend that for a first-time home buyer. Going further south, we have Trace. Down here, we're going to check out a couple of these homes. I also did another video where I toured 2 Pacesetter homes in Trace. So you can find that in my channel, and you can get an actual tour of the homes where I talk more in detail about those properties and what they're offering. Down here off 123, we have Pinnacle at Cottonwood Creek. I'm going to check out one of those homes in today's video. And then over in the northeast section, we have Whisper and Whisper South are the 2 neighborhoods. Whisper South is a really good option. I just helped a client close on a home there. That one, I think, has the highest likelihood for rapid equity growth, which I'll discuss as we look at that neighborhood, okay? So, like I said, we have 3. So we're going to start, so let's actually start south. So looking down here, this is Trace, okay, off Posey Road, so very close to the outlet mall over here. Lots of builders in this area. This one, I would say, is about halfway done, maybe more than halfway. In this neighborhood, we do have a pool, basketball court, playground. There's also Rodriguez Elementary School, so if you are thinking of buying and you have young children, walking distance, you can walk them to elementary school, which is nice. And you can kind of get a sense. Over here are actually some DR Horton homes, low 300s. Up here are some Pacesetter homes. These two are the two I actually did a video on, and they're right next to the amenity center, which is nice. The one we're going to look at today over here caught my eye because it's under 300,000. It's a 3-bed. So this is definitely a smaller property. 1,247 square feet isn't that large. So the bedrooms are not going to be small, but this is brand new. And it's Empire Communities is the builder. Empire just got into Trace, and so they have a bunch of offers right now trying to get people into their homes, okay? And so those offers are going to look like low interest rates. They're gonna buy down your interest rate for you. So we can get a sense of the photos. A lot of these are renderings because, like I said, Trace is just getting in. This is real though, so this is the amenity center I was talking about with the pool and basketball court, volleyball, beach volleyball, and then Rodriguez Elementary School in the background. So like I said, it's a rendering of what the house would look like. We can see kind of the floor plan. So this looks like it's a 1-story. So we walk in front here, right? Or excuse me, covered patio, 2-car garage. Okay, that's interesting. So it's kind of a side entrance. We have the garage to the right, and then to the left, you'll walk in straight to the kitchen. And then over here, primary bed with 2 sinks, double vanity, walk-in closet. And then this is just an open living room, dining, kitchen floor plan, very open. I'm sure it's gonna let in a lot of natural light. And then the 2 other bedrooms off to the side here with a shared bathroom, okay? So that's what this elevation looks like. And then just kind of more of, okay, so we have a couple photos of an example, right? So you can see kitchen, dining, living, all open here with recessed lighting. And that would be your entrance, patio, and then the other side is the entrance to the garage. So the nice thing about a new construction home is, well, a couple things. The first thing is inspection reports typically aren't going to find as much in new construction homes versus a much older home. If you're buying in downtown San Marcos, you're looking at homes built in the 60s, 70s. You may find some things in there, or the inspector may not be able to find things because just the bones of the house are so old. You don't know what's behind those walls every time. So with new construction, typically it's a safer bet from an inspection standpoint. And then it's newer, right? You're the first person living in that house, which is a nice feeling. It's going to feel more modern than moving into an older property. Some people like the old feel. Some people like the brand new updated feel. It's kind of what you're into. But financially, what's a great thing for builders is they're offering so many incentives. And so we kind of get a sense of what this looks like with a small yard. Okay, and then a little driveway. Cool. So this one's pretty cheap, which is why I caught my eye. So let's start putting numbers in and see what we're dealing with. 289,999. 289. And we're going to do an FHA loan, which allows you to do 3.5% down. FHA loans are basically government-backed loans for first-time home buyers. Interest rate. Now that's the interesting one. So if we look at today's mortgage rates, 6.47 is what it's showing for a top-tier 30-year FHA loan. Builders are offering, if you go with their in-house lender, to buy that rate down for you, because that's honestly the big reason most people aren't buying homes right now is interest rates are high, okay? So I'm not gonna put 6.47 because that's not accurate, okay? I know with these builders, we can get them to go down to, some of them are doing 3.99%. With this one, I don't know specifically what Empire is offering. I'm gonna go with 4.99. I think it's a safe bet. I'm seeing most builders be around there, some starting 3.99 for the first year. And then taxes. So for this specific property, the tax rate is 1.97, which is what I put in, good. And then HOA fee for Trace is $85 a month. And so I'm also gonna include HOA in your monthly payment, even though that would be a separate payment from your mortgage. So what does that look like? So we're looking at a monthly payment here in the top right, $2,381. That would be P&I, that's principal, your loan, and interest on the loan, would be 1526.85, right? Taxes, that's kind of estimated, but around 476. Insurance, again, estimated. You can get different insurance quotes, 164. MIP is mortgage insurance premium. It's something you have to pay until you own 20% in equity of the home, and then you no longer need to pay that. But that's $128. And then your HOA was $85. I'm just including that in here so there's no kind of hidden fees. So just shy of $2,400. And then looking at the bring to close down here, this is really important to understand in the current market. When I bought my house in 2021, I would have had to pay all of that, and I did. When I bought my first house, my wife, we paid everything. In the current market, because supply and demand, there's a ton of supply and little demand, you as a buyer have more negotiating power. And so what I've had success with is negotiating for builders to pay the prepaids and the fixed. And you only have to worry about the down payment, 3.5% down payment. So for this home, you would plan to pay $10,140 or $150 for the down payment of the loan, and that's it. And then I would suggest you pay about $300 to get a third-party inspector. Inspectors are always important when you're doing a large loan like this. But $10,150 is the down payment. The rest, I've had success negotiating the builder to pay that, okay? So that's what we're looking at. Now you may say, okay, well, hold on, Daniel. You just started the video by saying the average rent is $2,100, $2,150, and now you're telling me I can buy a house for $200 more a month. Doesn't it make more sense to rent? No, because when you're renting, you're not getting any of that money back. You're building nothing. You're just giving someone else $2,100. With this, as you can see, $1,526 of that is going towards your loan and the interest. And so you're paying a loan off, as well as you're building equity in the home year over year as property values increase, as inflation continues. That home's going to be worth more in 3, 4, 5 years. And so cut to 5 years from now, you rented and you saved a couple $100 a month versus you purchased and now you're selling a home and you're getting tens of thousands of dollars in equity that you can then use as a down payment on a nicer house wherever you move to next, right? So that's kind of why we're looking at this. The other aspect of this is, 2381. This is a, say, 3-bedroom, right? So you get 2 roommates. They don't need to know what the mortgage payment is. That's you bought the house, you know how much you owe the bank, okay? You can just tell your roommates, hey, the cost to rent a room here is $1,000 or $800, however you want to do it, right? Let's say we do $1,000, then that means your roommates are paying $2,000 to you, and you're paying $381. I mean, it's a no-brainer with this, okay? One of the first deals I ever did was with an ex-student in San Marcos. She bought a 4-bedroom home, and her roommates are basically paying her mortgage for her while she's going to Texas State. So that's what we call house hacking, something I wish I knew when I went to Texas State. When I was there, I was a band director for 10 years, so I went there for music education, knew nothing about real estate, was just focused on learning how to be a better educator. And going back, I wish I'd known all of this because I would have saved so much money if I just purchased a home or convinced my parents, hey, can we buy a house and build equity through that? In San Marcos specifically, if you're going to UT, don't buy a house, just deal with renting. It doesn't make sense to do it in UT. Okay, I've rambled enough. So you kind of get a sense, right? So that's Trace. Trace has a bunch of different builders. I just picked Empire. Like I said, I have another video. I actually have 2 videos, one on DR Horton in Trace and one on Pacesetter in Trace. You can find those on my channel. All right, so that was number 1. Let's check out another one. So we're going to look now at Pinnacle, Cottonwood Creek. This is south of 123. I really like this neighborhood. I did a tour of this neighborhood a few months back. If you look on my channel for Pinnacle at Cottonwood Creek, you'll be able to find it, just so you can kind of get a sense of what the neighborhood looks like. But it's a nice little small community, really low HOA fees, I remember. And if you have a kid going to San Marcos High School, it's really close to the high school and the middle school. But these are really nice small homes for a really good price. So this is a 4-bedroom, 4-bed, 2.5 bath, and this is listed at $319,890. So let's check out the renderings of this. And these will be photos of the model home. So we have these granite countertops, corner pantry, again, open floor plan. You can tell just from the photos, this is much larger than the last one, right? That was about 1,200 square feet. Now we're in the 2,000. A ton of cabinet space. Yeah, plenty of space to fit a couch. That would be, I assume, the primary. I'm not sure. This would be the primary bathroom with the 2 sinks, walk-in closet, walk-in shower. We actually have a landing or a loft in this one too. So you have upstairs and then an extra area. And then the 3 other bedrooms are upstairs with a dual vanity sink, which is nice. Yeah, really nice modern look. Carpeted stairs, LVP flooring throughout. And then laundry is downstairs. Pretty good sized laundry room. And then you have that half bath. Yeah, these photos are not recent. Yeah, okay, got it. So let's check out the numbers for this. $319,890 as my dog loses it. $319,890. I live in a new construction neighborhood in Southeast Austin, and they're building the house right next door. And my dog Lando is not a fan. He barks at any little thing that walks by our house. Okay, lost my train of thought. 1.91 is the tax. 1.91. And then HOA here is $840 annually. I'm not going to do that math, so $840, we'll do annual. Okay. So this one is coming out to $2,586 a month. Again, this is a 4-bedroom though, so you can leverage that to have an extra roommate to help pay that down. So now you have 3 roommates and you're asking them, can you pay $800 each? $816.24. Now you're paying $186 and you're living in the nicest room in the house, okay? Down payment, $11,200. And then, like I said, plan to pay about $300 for an inspector. And then also for an appraisal, you're gonna be required to pay for that too. That'll be a couple $100 too, okay? So that's kind of all the cash you'll need to bring to closing to actually close on a home. One thing that's really important that honestly, I didn't start seeing until recently, that builders are willing to pay to get you out of a lease. So say you're currently renting an apartment or you've signed paperwork that you're going to renew your lease. Somewhere in that contract, there's going to be a get out clause of if you need to get out early, you need to pay X amount. Typically it's 2 months rent is what they ask. I've had success with builders agreeing to pay that on top of all the other concessions we're asking from them to get you out of your lease, because they have a quota. They just want to sell a certain amount of homes per month. And so if they get to a point where you've done the pre-approval, they know you're capable of purchasing the home, of doing the down payment, your credit score is okay, like typically above 670, then they're going to just want you in the house no matter what. And so if you're renting right now, don't feel like, well, I got to wait until the lease is up. Honestly, in the current market, I'm shocked at how many times the builders said, yes, we'll pay $4,000 to get them out of the lease. So something to be aware of, and it doesn't hurt you whatsoever. Honestly, you're upgrading to a house. So that was the second house, 2,586. We're gonna check out the last one. And as I said, that was Pinnacle, Cottonwood Creek, kind of just a small pocket community. This one is probably my favorite. So we're going northeast now, and this is Whisper South. So Whisper South is just got started. I think they have a row of houses that they've built, and that's it so far. They are currently like working on a road connecting to I-35. So you have to kind of go back roads a little bit to get there. Once they get that road, which is almost complete, straight to I-35, it's going to be easy in and out. They're going to get way more traffic. And then the biggest thing about Whisper South is right now it's just D.R. Horton, which is a low-cost builder. But 2 other builders are coming into that community. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they are kind of mid-tier builder quality. And so what D.R. Horton has done is they've changed the front of their homes in that neighborhood specifically to look more mid to high end like the other builders coming in. So I've done a lot of D.R. Horton tours. It's mainly hardy plank siding is the front of the house. With these homes, they do stucco, they do brick, they do stone. It looks really nice. The nicest looking D.R. Horton homes I've seen. And then when the new builders come in, that's going to increase the property values for everyone. So this one, in my opinion, is the best bet for building equity over 3, 4, 5 years owning the home. And then when you sell, it should be much higher than what you're buying for right now, okay? So there's a bunch of homes for sale here. You can kind of see 307, 303, 296, 307. I picked a 4-bedroom because, again, you can leverage that better for your roommates to pay down that cost. And so this home is listed at $339,990. Let's put that in real quick. $339,990. And interest rate is 2.1180. Or excuse me, tax. 2.1180. And HOA is $80 a month. And I know that they are currently working on a pool and amenity center, but it's so early in that neighborhood that they haven't even built that yet. I think it's gonna be built in about a year as of recording. So numbers for this one, just so we can see it off the bat, we're looking at $2,813 a month, down payment just shy of $12,000, okay? Again, another 4-bedroom. This is the largest one we've looked at. So this is 2,034 square feet. And we can kind of, like, as it says at the bottom, image representative, but you can get a sense of the exterior. So like I said, we have this stucco exterior here and then brick. All the exteriors are going to be different, but that's the kind of quality you should expect. I like that they have this here. So when you walk in, we have the half bath here, and then kitchen, dining, family room, so open floor plan. That's becoming more of the norm nowadays. You have a large covered back patio, and then you'll have your backyard here. And then the primary bedroom is downstairs, which is, it's nice because you as the owner don't have to go up and downstairs. But more importantly, it's easier to sell in 5 years when you're selling to someone, maybe an elderly couple or a family that has someone elderly living with them and they just need a bedroom downstairs. Homes with primary downstairs sell faster than homes with all the bedrooms upstairs. So this is a nice feature with this one. And then going upstairs, we have our 3 bedrooms plus a loft, a landing, and then that full bathroom upstairs too, okay? So really good layout with this one. Oh, let's see if they have any more photos. Yep, so you can see it as the front door. You have that foyer there where you can put a bench, hang some of your stuff. You have your half bath with the pedestal sink. This is actually one of their model homes, so that's why it looks really nice. You can get a sense of kitchen area, dining, living, plenty of open space here. Much more modern looking kitchen. D.R. Horton's also one of those builders that you can negotiate, and I've had success negotiating packages. So you can negotiate, they include a fridge, washer, dryer. You can negotiate, they include blinds, so they include a garage door, motorized garage door opener, right? All of these things, negotiate that they add gutters. All of these are very important. And because of the current market, they'll just say yes to all of that on top of paying to get you out of your lease. And then on top of paying my commission. So I've never had a buyer client of mine pay me anything. I always negotiate the builder or the seller to pay my commission. So if we did work together, you wouldn't pay me anything. This is the primary bedroom, very large bedroom, and then dual vanity sinks, large walk-in closet. Upstairs, we have that landing. Now these built-ins you would not have. It's just something you can add later on. And then bedroom number 1 upstairs. You see the bathroom, bedroom number 2, and then bedroom number 3, they just made it as an office. And then backyards are going to change based on the lot placement, right? So there you have it. And then that's the future plans for pools and all of that. That's not quite done yet for this neighborhood. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Please reach out if you have any questions about this. House hacking is such a great idea, especially if you have a student or you are a student in your first, second year at Texas State. You know you're going to be there for at least the next 3 years. Buying a house As long as you're working with a knowledgeable realtor who knows San Marcos, who knows the best neighborhoods to look at, and kind of knows your needs, it's a great time to buy right now, especially if you can get interest rates bought down, because that's the main reason people are on the sideline waiting. What I wouldn't advise is waiting for interest rates to come down overall, because as soon as today's mortgage rates comes down, a point, comes down to the fives, what do you think is going to happen? A flood of buyers are going to get into the market. And when that happens, what happens to prices? They go up, right? So now is a great time to get in and get a good price. You can always refinance later if interest rates plummet, right? But the prices right now are really good. And with builders offering to buy down that rate, I mean, it's a no-brainer. The main thing is just you need that down payment. So if you don't have that $10,000 to $12,000 for a down payment, then yeah, you should try to rent something cheap, save up that money so that you can purchase property in the future. But yeah, purchasing property is a great way to build wealth without really having to do anything, because we all need shelter. We need somewhere to live. It's just, how do you want to leverage your money to help you? Is it paying someone else's mortgage and paying a rent, or taking that leap of understanding I can pay my own mortgage and I will make money doing this? So hope you guys found this video helpful. I'm going to stop rambling. Again, you can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. All of that's in the description below. And until next time, I hope to see you guys around town.